Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe in slowly, and as you breathe out, let your shoulders drop and allow yourself to truly arrive here in this moment. You've found your way to this message today, and that's no accident. There's something stirring within you, isn't there? Something that's been whispering to you that there has to be more, that there has to be a way to shift what feels stuck in your life. I know you might be feeling overwhelmed right now. Perhaps you've been carrying the weight of disappointment, wondering why the same patterns keep showing up no matter how hard you try to change things. Maybe you've been searching for answers, reading books, watching videos, trying meditation, positive thinking, vision boards, and yet you still wake up feeling like you're living the same day over and over again. You're not broken, and you haven't failed. You've simply been missing one crucial piece of the puzzle. There's a gentle ache in your heart, isn't there? That feeling that life is passing you by while you're stuck in circumstances that don't match the dreams you hold so close to your chest. You watch others seeming to effortlessly create the lives they want, and you wonder what secret they know that you don't. You've probably asked yourself why transformation feels so hard, why your best intentions don't seem to translate into lasting change. What I want to share with you today is going to surprise you in its simplicity. It's not another complicated system or strategy that requires you to become someone different than who you are. It's not about forcing yourself to think positively when your heart is breaking or pretending everything is fine when it's not. What I'm going to show you is as simple as picking up a pen and paper, yet it has the power to completely transform your reality from the inside out. You see, there's magic in the written word that goes far beyond what most people understand. When we write, we're not just putting words on paper. We're engaging in one of the most powerful acts of creation available to us as human beings. We're taking the invisible thoughts and feelings swirling around in our minds and giving them form, shape, and substance in the physical world. This simple act creates a bridge between your inner world and your outer reality in ways that can literally change everything. The beautiful truth is that you already have everything you need within you right now. You don't need to wait for permission or for the perfect moment or for someone else to validate your dreams. You don't need expensive tools or years of training. All you need is your willingness to be honest with yourself and a simple pen and piece of paper. That's it. This ancient practice of writing has been transforming lives for thousands of years, and today it's going to begin transforming yours. I know it might sound too simple to be true. In a world that constantly tells us that change requires struggle, sacrifice, and complexity, the idea that something as basic as writing could shift everything in our lives seems almost naive. But what if I told you that the simplest solutions are often the most profound? What if the very reason you've been struggling to create change is because you've been making it harder than it needs to be? Your heart knows the truth of what I'm saying. There's a part of you that's already feeling excited, isn't there? A part that recognizes this as the missing piece you've been searching for. That excitement is your inner wisdom confirming that you're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Trust that feeling. It's your soul's way of saying yes to the transformation that's waiting for you. Today, we're going to explore how the simple act of putting pen to paper can unlock doors in your life that you didn't even know existed. We're going to discover how writing becomes a direct line of communication with the most powerful parts of yourself, the parts that know exactly how to create the life you've been dreaming of. We're going to learn how to use writing to release what's been holding you back and to plant seeds for everything you want to grow in your life. This isn't about becoming a writer or creating perfect prose. This is about learning to use writing as a tool for healing, manifestation, and profound personal transformation. It's about discovering that the pen in your hand is actually a magic wand, and you've had the power all along to rewrite your story exactly the way you want it to be. So settle in with me now, open your heart, and prepare to discover the most beautiful secret, that you have the power to write your way into a completely new life starting today. Your transformation begins not with changing anything outside of you, but with changing the conversation you're having with yourself on paper. And once that conversation shifts, everything else follows. The universe has been waiting for you to pick up that pen. Your higher self has been gently nudging you toward this moment, and your future self is already celebrating the decision you're about to make to begin writing yourself into the life you truly want to live. This is your time, and this is your invitation to step into the most empowered version of yourself through the simple, magical act of writing. Writing has this mysterious way of bypassing all the mental resistance that keeps us stuck. When we think, our minds can get caught in endless loops, circling around the same worries and limitations over and over again. But when we write, something different happens. The very act of moving our hand across paper engages different parts of our brain and nervous system in ways that thinking alone simply cannot accomplish. There's actual science behind why writing feels different than thinking. When we form letters with our hands, we're activating neural pathways that connect our thoughts directly to our body. We're literally embodying our thoughts, giving them physical form and substance. This creates a feedback loop between our mind and body that helps us process emotions more completely and access insights that remain hidden when we're just thinking. Writing slows us down in the most beautiful way. While our minds can race through thousands of thoughts in a minute, writing forces us to move at the speed of our hand. This natural slowing creates space between our thoughts, space where wisdom can emerge, space where we can actually hear the quiet voice of our intuition that gets drowned out by mental chatter. In this space, magic happens. When you write by hand, you're also engaging your sense of touch, your visual system as you see the words appear, and even your proprioceptive sense as you feel your arm and hand moving across the page. This multisensory experience creates a richer, more complete imprint in your consciousness than typing or thinking alone. Your whole being becomes involved in the process of creation. There's something sacred about the rhythm of writing by hand. It's meditative, almost like a prayer or a gentle conversation with the deepest parts of yourself. Each stroke of the pen is an act of intention, each word a small declaration of what you're choosing to create in your life. This physical act of creation mirrors the way the universe itself creates, slowly, deliberately, with love and attention to detail. Your body holds so much wisdom, so many memories and insights that your thinking mind often overlooks. When you write, you're giving your body a voice. You're allowing all those stored emotions, dreams, and knowings to flow through your hand onto the paper. This is why writing often surprises us. We find ourselves writing things we didn't even know we knew, expressing feelings we hadn't realized we were carrying, and discovering solutions to problems that seemed impossible to solve. The paper becomes a safe container for everything inside you. Unlike speaking, where words disappear into the air, writing creates a permanent record of your inner world. This permanence allows you to be more honest, more vulnerable, more real than you might be in any other context. You can write things you've never said out loud, explore feelings you've been afraid to acknowledge, and dream dreams you've been too scared to share with anyone else. Writing also creates distance between you and your thoughts in the most healing way. When painful or limiting thoughts are swirling around in your mind, they feel enormous and overwhelming. But when you write them down, they become smaller, more manageable. You can see them for what they really are, just thoughts, not absolute truths. This perspective shift is often the first step toward freedom. Your handwriting itself carries energy. The curves and angles, the pressure you apply, the speed at which you write, all of these elements are expressions of your unique energy signature. When you write with intention, you're literally imprinting your energy into the physical world. You're taking the invisible realm of thoughts and feelings and making it visible, tangible, real. The act of writing also engages your creative right brain in ways that pure logical thinking cannot. When you let your hand move freely across the page, you're accessing the same creative flow state that artists and musicians know so well. In this state, you become a channel for insights and solutions that exist beyond your everyday thinking mind. You tap into the infinite intelligence that's always available to you, but often gets overshadowed by mental noise. Writing by hand also requires you to slow down and be present. You can't multitask while writing the way you can while thinking. This focused attention creates a natural meditation that calms your nervous system and opens your heart. In this relaxed, open state, you become much more receptive to guidance, inspiration, and the subtle promptings of your intuition. The beautiful thing about writing is that it works whether you believe in it or not. You don't need to understand the mechanism to benefit from the magic. You simply need to be willing to pick up a pen and begin. The moment you do, you're activating ancient pathways of creation and transformation that have been built into your very DNA. Your thoughts are constantly creating your reality, but most of the time, this happens unconsciously. Your mind runs on autopilot, repeating the same patterns and stories without you even realizing it. These unconscious thought patterns are like invisible programming running in the background of your life, creating the same experiences over and over again. Writing brings this unconscious programming into the light where you can finally see it, question it, and change it. Think about how your mind works throughout a typical day. Most of us have the same thoughts today that we had yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. These thoughts have become so automatic that we don't even notice them anymore. They've become the background soundtrack of our lives, playing the same songs on repeat without us ever choosing to change the channel. These repetitive thought patterns create what feels like mental loops or cycles that we can't seem to break free from. You might find yourself worrying about the same things every day, rehearsing the same conversations in your head, or playing out the same scenarios of what could go wrong. Your mind becomes like a record with a scratch, playing the same line over and over again while you feel powerless to make it stop. The problem with these mental loops is that they feel so real and so important. When you're caught in a cycle of worry or negative thinking, it seems like you're solving problems or protecting yourself. But really, you're just strengthening neural pathways that keep you stuck in patterns that don't serve you. You're training your brain to default to limitation, fear, and lack instead of possibility, love, and abundance. These thought loops also create a kind of energetic static that blocks your ability to receive new insights, opportunities, and solutions. When your mind is busy running the same programs over and over again, there's no space for fresh perspective or creative solutions to emerge. You become trapped in a very small version of reality, even though infinite possibilities exist all around you. Writing has this beautiful way of interrupting these unconscious patterns. When you sit down with a pen and paper, you're essentially saying to your mind, "Okay, let's actually look at what's going on in here." You're bringing consciousness to what has been unconscious. You're taking the role of observer rather than victim of your own thoughts. The moment you begin to write down your thoughts, something shifts. Instead of being lost in the thought loop, you become the witness to it. You can see the pattern from the outside instead of being trapped inside it. This shift in perspective is often the beginning of freedom. You realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes your thoughts, and therefore you have the power to choose different ones. Writing also helps you identify the core beliefs that are driving these repetitive patterns. Often, our mental loops are symptoms of deeper beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world. These beliefs might sound like, "I'm not good enough," or "life is hard," or "I don't deserve good things." When you write consistently, these core beliefs start to reveal themselves, and once you can see them clearly, you can begin to question whether they're actually true. Many of these limiting beliefs were formed when you were very young, when you didn't have the wisdom or perspective to question them. You simply accepted them as truth and built your life around them. But now, as a conscious adult, you have the power to examine these old beliefs and decide whether you want to keep them or create new ones that better serve who you're becoming. Writing becomes a practice of conscious choice making. Instead of letting your mind run wild with whatever thoughts happen to show up, you begin to deliberately choose which thoughts you want to feed and which ones you want to release. You learn to catch yourself in the middle of a negative thought spiral and redirect your attention to something more positive and productive. This process doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require perfection. It's a gentle practice of becoming more aware, more conscious, more intentional about the inner conversation that's constantly shaping your outer reality. Each time you write, you're strengthening your ability to step out of unconscious patterns and into conscious creation. The beautiful thing is that as you begin to shift your internal patterns through writing, your external reality begins to shift as well. The universe responds to your internal state. So as you become more peaceful, clear, and intentional on the inside, you start to attract experiences that match this new internal environment. What felt impossible before starts to feel possible. What seemed stuck begins to move. What appeared limited reveals new options and opportunities. Through writing, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your entire relationship with your own mind. You're moving from being at the mercy of random mental chatter to being the conscious director of your inner world. And when you become the conscious director of your inner world, you become the conscious creator of your outer world as well. Now that you understand how writing can break those mental loops that have been keeping you stuck, it's time to learn how to use this powerful tool to create the foundation for your new life. This foundation begins with something that might feel scary at first, but I promise you it's the most liberating thing you can do for yourself: writing your complete, unfiltered truth. Most of us have learned to edit ourselves before we even begin to express what we're really thinking and feeling. We've been taught that certain thoughts are bad, certain feelings are wrong, and certain desires are selfish or unrealistic. So we've developed this internal filter that censors us before we even know what our truth actually is. But your healing, your growth, and your transformation all depend on your willingness to be completely honest with yourself, and writing provides the safest space in the world to do exactly that. When I talk about writing your truth, I mean writing everything that's really going on inside you without trying to make it sound better, more spiritual, or more acceptable. I mean writing about your fears without trying to immediately fix them. Writing about your anger without judging yourself for having it. Writing about your dreams without convincing yourself they're impossible. Writing about your pain without rushing to find the lesson or the blessing in it. This kind of radical honesty on paper might feel uncomfortable at first, because we've been conditioned to believe that acknowledging difficult emotions will make them stronger or more real. But the opposite is actually true. When you refuse to acknowledge what you're really feeling, those emotions don't disappear. They go underground, where they continue to influence your life in ways you can't see or control. They leak out through passive aggression, physical symptoms, self-sabotage, or sudden emotional explosions that seem to come out of nowhere. Writing your truth creates a safe container for all of these hidden parts of yourself. When you write down that you're angry, scared, frustrated, or disappointed, you're not making these feelings more powerful. You're giving them a healthy outlet. You're saying to these emotions, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I'm willing to listen to what you have to tell me. This kind of acceptance and attention is often all these feelings need to begin transforming into something more helpful. The magic happens when you write without trying to solve anything or fix anything or change anything. You simply let everything pour out onto the paper exactly as it is. You might write about how tired you are of pretending everything is fine when it's not. You might write about how jealous you feel when you see others living the life you want. You might write about how angry you are at yourself for the choices you've made or the time you feel you've wasted. As you write these raw, honest truths, something beautiful begins to happen. The emotional charge that these feelings have been carrying starts to discharge onto the paper. It's as if you've been carrying a heavy backpack full of stones, and writing allows you to set that backpack down and take the stones out one by one. Each truth you write is another stone removed from the load you've been carrying. This process of emotional release through writing isn't just cathartic, it's actually creating space in your inner world for something new to emerge. Think of it like cleaning out a cluttered closet. You can't put new, beautiful things in the closet until you remove all the old stuff that's been taking up space. Your emotional landscape works the same way. You can't fill your heart with joy, peace, and excitement about the future until you've cleared out the old resentment, fear, and disappointment that's been taking up residence there. The beautiful thing about writing your truth is that you don't have to share it with anyone. This isn't about creating something for others to read or judge. This is purely for you, purely for your own healing and liberation. You can write things you would never say out loud, explore feelings you've never admitted to having, and express desires you've never dared to voice. The paper will hold all of it with complete acceptance and without any judgment whatsoever. As you practice this kind of truth-telling on paper, you might be surprised by what emerges. You might discover that underneath your anger is actually hurt. Underneath your fear might be excitement. Underneath your sadness might be a deep longing for something more authentic and alive. Writing gives you access to the layers of your emotional world that remain hidden when you're just thinking or talking about your problems. One of the most powerful ways to begin this practice is to start by writing about what's not working in your life right now. Not to complain or to reinforce negative patterns, but to honestly acknowledge where you are so you can make conscious choices about where you want to go. You might write about relationships that drain your energy, work that doesn't fulfill you, habits that don't serve you, or dreams you've been afraid to pursue. As you write about these areas of your life, pay attention to any feelings that come up without trying to change them or judge them. If you feel sad about time you think you've wasted, let yourself feel that sadness fully and write about it. If you feel angry about ways you've been treated, let yourself feel that anger and express it on paper. If you feel scared about making changes, acknowledge that fear and explore where it comes from. This isn't about wallowing in negative emotions or creating a story about how hard your life is. This is about clearing the emotional slate so you can begin writing a new story from a clean, honest place. It's about releasing the pressure that builds up when we try to keep everything inside. And it's about honoring all parts of your human experience instead of trying to be perfect or positive all the time. Once you've written your truth and released what needs to be released, you'll find that you naturally begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more open to possibilities you couldn't see before. This is when the real magic of writing begins, when you start to consciously create new stories, new beliefs, and new realities through the power of your written word. Your life is essentially a story that you're telling yourself every single day. This story is made up of all the beliefs you hold about who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve, and what's possible for you. Most of this story was written when you were very young by people who meant well but had their own limitations and fears. Now, as a conscious adult, you have the power to rewrite this story in any way you choose. The narrative you carry about yourself influences everything: how you show up in relationships, what opportunities you notice or miss, how you treat your body, what risks you're willing to take, and what dreams you allow yourself to pursue. If your internal story says you're not smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough, you'll unconsciously create a life that proves this story right. But if you consciously rewrite your story to reflect your true nature and potential, your life will begin to align with this new narrative. Writing gives you the perfect opportunity to examine the story you've been telling yourself and decide whether it's a story you want to keep living. You can look at the characters in your story. Are you the victim, the hero, the supporting actor in someone else's drama? You can examine the themes. Is your story about struggle and limitation, or is it about growth and possibility? You can explore the setting. Does your story take place in a world of scarcity or abundance? Most people never consciously examine their internal narrative because it feels so much like reality. The story has been running for so long and feels so familiar that it seems like truth rather than choice. But when you begin to write about your life from different perspectives, you start to see that many of the things you've accepted as facts are actually just interpretations, and interpretations can be changed. One of the most powerful ways to begin rewriting your story is to pay attention to the I am statements you make about yourself, both out loud and in your thoughts. These seemingly simple statements are actually declarations of identity that shape your entire reality. When you say, I am broke, I am unlucky, I am bad at relationships, or I am too old to change, you're not just describing your current situation, you're creating your future experience. Your subconscious mind takes these I am statements as commands and works tirelessly to make them true. If you consistently identify yourself as someone who struggles with money, your subconscious will help you notice and create experiences that confirm this identity. If you identify yourself as someone who always gets sick during flu season, your subconscious will weaken your immune system to make this prediction come true. But here's the beautiful truth. You can consciously choose new I am statements and use writing to help these new identities take root in your consciousness. Instead of unconsciously reinforcing limiting identities, you can deliberately create empowering ones. You can write, I am worthy of love and success. I am creative and resourceful. I am healthy and vibrant. Or, I am open to unlimited possibilities. At first, these new statements might feel untrue or uncomfortable. Your mind might resist them because they don't match your current experience or your historical identity. This resistance is normal and actually shows that you're challenging old programming that has kept you stuck. Writing these new identity statements repeatedly helps them gradually feel more natural and believable. The key is to choose I am statements that feel like a stretch but not a complete fantasy. If you currently see yourself as completely powerless, jumping to I am all powerful might feel too big and create internal resistance. But I am learning to trust my own strength, or I am discovering my personal power might feel more believable and still move you in the direction you want to go. As you write these new identity statements, pay attention to any stories or evidence that support them, no matter how small. If you're working on, I am worthy of respect, notice any moment when someone treated you with respect and write about it. If you're developing, I am financially abundant, write about any money that flows into your life, even if it's just finding $1 on the street or getting an unexpected discount. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. This is about consciously focusing your attention on the aspects of your experience that support the identity you want to develop, rather than constantly reinforcing the identity you want to move beyond. You're training your mind to notice and create more of what you want instead of more of what you don't want. Writing also allows you to explore different versions of your story and see how they feel. You can write about your past from the perspective of a victim and then rewrite the same events from the perspective of someone who has overcome challenges and grown stronger. You can write about your current situation as a problem to be endured and then rewrite it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. This isn't about denying difficult experiences or pretending they didn't hurt. This is about recognizing that you have the power to choose what these experiences mean and how they fit into the larger story of your life. You can write a story where your challenges made you bitter and fearful, or you can write a story where your challenges made you compassionate and wise. The events might be the same, but the story, and therefore your future, becomes completely different. The more you practice consciously crafting your internal narrative through writing, the more you'll notice this new story beginning to manifest in your external reality. You'll start to see yourself differently, and as you see yourself differently, others will begin to see you differently too. Opportunities that match your new story will start to appear, and you'll have the confidence and clarity to recognize and act on them. While releasing old stories and creating new ones is essential for transformation, there's another element of writing that can accelerate your healing and manifestation in the most beautiful way: the practice of written gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a nice spiritual concept. It's actually one of the most powerful forces for positive change available to us. And when you combine it with the focused intention of writing, it becomes a gateway to rapid transformation. When you write about what you're grateful for, you're doing much more than making a list of good things in your life. You're actively shifting your vibrational frequency from lack to abundance, from problem-focused to blessing-focused, from scarcity consciousness to prosperity consciousness. This shift in frequency changes what you're able to perceive, attract, and create in your life. Your attention is like a spotlight that illuminates whatever you point it toward. Most of us have been unconsciously pointing this spotlight at everything that's wrong, missing, or not working in our lives. We notice what we don't have, what's not going well, and what we're worried about. This isn't because we're negative people. It's because our brains are wired to look for problems as a survival mechanism. But while this negativity bias might have helped our ancestors stay alive, it doesn't help us thrive in the modern world. Gratitude writing helps you consciously redirect your attention spotlight toward everything that's working, flowing, and abundant in your life. As you consistently focus on what you appreciate, you begin to notice more and more things to appreciate. It's as if you've been living in a house with only one light bulb, seeing just a small corner of each room, and gratitude gives you the power to turn on all the lights and see how much beauty and abundance has been there all along. The magic of written gratitude goes beyond just feeling good, though the feeling good part is important too. When you write about what you're grateful for, you're sending a clear signal to the universe that you recognize and appreciate the gifts that are flowing into your life. This recognition opens the channels for even more gifts to flow to you. The universe responds to appreciation by sending more of what you're appreciating. This isn't just wishful thinking or new age fantasy. It's a natural law that you can observe in every area of life. When you appreciate someone, they want to do more things for you to appreciate. When you appreciate your body, it responds by feeling and functioning better. When you appreciate money, you begin to notice and create more opportunities for money to flow to you. Appreciation is like a magnet that draws more of whatever you're appreciating into your experience. Writing amplifies the power of gratitude because it engages your whole being in the appreciation process. When you simply think grateful thoughts, they can come and go quickly without making a deep impression. But when you take the time to write about what you're grateful for, you're spending focused time and energy acknowledging these blessings. You're literally taking invisible blessings and making them visible on paper. The act of writing gratitude also helps you discover layers of appreciation you might miss with just thinking. When you write, "I'm grateful for my home," you might then find yourself writing about the specific things you love about your home. The way the morning light comes through your kitchen window, the comfort of your favorite chair, the feeling of safety you have when you lock the door at night. This deeper exploration helps you feel the gratitude more fully and specifically. One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude writing is that it works even when you don't feel particularly grateful. You might sit down to write feeling frustrated, worried, or sad, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to feel grateful to practice gratitude. You can begin by writing about the smallest, most basic things you appreciate. The air you're breathing, the fact that you have a pen and paper, the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen. As you write about these simple appreciations, something beautiful begins to happen. Your energy naturally starts to shift from heaviness to lightness, from contraction to expansion, from focus on problems to focus on blessings. You might be surprised to find that by the end of your gratitude writing session, you actually do feel genuinely grateful and more optimistic about your life. Gratitude writing is also incredibly healing for relationships. You can write about people you appreciate, specific things they've done that touched your heart, and ways they've contributed to your life. This practice helps you see the people in your life through the lens of love rather than criticism or disappointment. As your perception of others shifts through written appreciation, your relationships naturally become more harmonious and loving. You can also use gratitude writing to heal your relationship with challenging situations. Even in the midst of difficulties, there are usually small things you can find to appreciate. Lessons you're learning, strength you're developing, support you're receiving, or simply the fact that this difficult time will eventually pass. This doesn't mean you have to be grateful for trauma or pretend that painful experiences are good. It means you can find threads of grace even in the darkest times, and focusing on these threads through writing can help you navigate challenges with more peace and resilience. The practice of written gratitude creates an upward spiral in your life. The more you appreciate, the more you have to appreciate. The more you focus on abundance, the more abundant you feel and become. The more you acknowledge beauty, the more beauty appears in your world. This isn't magic thinking. This is the natural result of training your attention to see and create more of what you want to experience. Now that you've learned to release what no longer serves you and shift your attention to what you appreciate, it's time to discover one of the most powerful manifestation tools available to you: the practice of scripting your desired reality. This is where writing becomes truly magical, where you learn to use your pen as a bridge between the world as it is now and the world as you want it to be. Scripting is the practice of writing about your desired life as if it's already happening right now. Instead of writing, "I want to be happy," or "I hope to find love," you write, "I am so grateful for the joy that fills my life," or "I love waking up next to my amazing partner every morning." You write in present tense, with emotion and detail, as if you're simply documenting a life that already exists. This might feel strange or even dishonest at first. Your logical mind might protest that you're lying or making things up. But here's what your logical mind doesn't understand. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you write about your desired reality with enough detail and emotion, your subconscious begins to accept this as your actual experience and starts working to make your outer reality match this inner reality. The key to effective scripting is specificity and emotion. Instead of writing vague statements like, "I have a good job," you want to write detailed, feeling-rich descriptions of exactly what your ideal work life looks like. You might write about walking into your beautiful office, feeling excited about the projects you're working on, enjoying wonderful relationships with your colleagues, feeling valued and appreciated for your contributions, and depositing your abundant paycheck with gratitude and joy. The more specific and detailed you can be, the more real this new reality becomes to your subconscious mind. You want to engage all of your senses in your writing. What do you see in your ideal life? What do you hear? What do you smell, taste, and feel? What emotions are you experiencing? The richer and more vivid you can make these written experiences, the more powerfully they'll work to transform your actual reality. When you script your desired reality, you're also clarifying what you truly want, often discovering desires you didn't even know you had. Many people spend more time planning their weekend than they do consciously creating their ideal life. Scripting forces you to get specific about what would actually make you happy, fulfilled, and excited to be alive. This clarity alone is incredibly powerful because you can't create what you haven't clearly defined. One of the most effective ways to practice scripting is to write about your perfect day. Start from the moment you wake up and walk through your entire day in vivid detail. Where do you live? How do you feel when you open your eyes? What does your morning routine look like? What kind of work do you do? Who do you spend time with? How do you feel about yourself and your life? What are you grateful for at the end of the day? As you write your perfect day, notice which parts feel most exciting and alive to you. These emotional peaks are clues about what your soul truly wants to experience. They're breadcrumbs leading you toward your authentic desires rather than what you think you should want or what others expect you to want. You can also script specific areas of your life that you want to transform. If you want to improve your health, write detailed descriptions of feeling vibrant, energetic, and strong. Write about enjoying nutritious foods, moving your body in ways that feel good, sleeping deeply, and waking up refreshed. If you want to improve your finances, write about feeling secure and abundant, making wise money decisions, enjoying generous income, and using money in ways that bring you joy and help others. The beautiful thing about scripting is that it begins to shift your internal state immediately. As you write about feeling confident, loved, successful, or peaceful, you actually start to feel these emotions in the present moment. Your body doesn't know you're just writing. It responds to the emotions you're generating through your words. This emotional shift changes your energy, which changes how you show up in the world, which changes what you attract and create. Scripting also helps you identify and release limiting beliefs that might be blocking your desires. As you write about your ideal reality, you might notice internal resistance or thoughts like, "This could never happen to me," or "I don't deserve this." These resistant thoughts are gifts because they show you exactly what beliefs need to be healed and transformed. You can then use your writing practice to address these beliefs directly. When resistance comes up during scripting, don't fight it or try to force yourself to believe something that feels untrue. Instead, acknowledge the resistance and then find a version of your desire that feels more believable. If writing "I am wealthy" feels too big a stretch, you might write, "I am learning to attract and manage money wisely," or "I am open to increasing abundance in my life." The goal is to stretch yourself toward your desires while still maintaining a feeling of possibility rather than impossibility. The practice of scripting works best when you combine it with genuine emotion and gratitude. As you write about your desired reality, really let yourself feel the joy, excitement, love, or peace that this reality would bring you. Feel grateful for this life as if it's already yours. This emotional component is what gives your scripting real power to transform your actual experience. While scripting gives you a powerful way to envision and energetically align with your desired reality, affirmations provide daily tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind and reinforcing positive change. But here's the truth about affirmations that most people never learn. Generic, one-size-fits-all affirmations often fail because they don't address your specific beliefs, circumstances, or emotional state. The affirmations that truly work are the ones you create specifically for yourself, addressing your unique challenges and supporting your particular dreams. These personalized affirmations feel authentic to you, stretch you gently toward growth without triggering overwhelming resistance, and address the specific areas where you need the most support and healing. Creating effective affirmations starts with understanding why so many traditional affirmations don't work. When you have a deep belief that you're unworthy of love and you try to affirm, "I am worthy of love," your subconscious mind immediately rebels. It knows this statement doesn't match your current belief system, so it rejects the affirmation and often makes you feel worse than before you started. This is why bridge affirmations are so much more effective than giant leap affirmations. A bridge affirmation acknowledges where you are now while gently moving you toward where you want to be. Instead of jumping from "I am unworthy" to "I am completely worthy," you might bridge with "I am learning to see my own worthiness," or "I am open to discovering my value," or "Every day I am understanding my worth a little more clearly." These bridge affirmations feel believable to your current mindset while still moving you in a positive direction. They don't trigger the internal resistance that makes traditional affirmations backfire. They meet you where you are and gently guide you forward instead of trying to drag you somewhere you're not ready to go. The most powerful affirmations are written in your own words, addressing your specific situations and challenges. If you're working on confidence in public speaking, a generic affirmation like "I am confident" won't be as effective as something specific like "I speak with clarity and ease, and my message touches hearts," or "I feel calm and centered when sharing my ideas with others." Writing your affirmations by hand rather than just thinking them or typing them creates a deeper imprint in your consciousness. The physical act of forming the letters engages your body in the process of creating new neural pathways. Your hand, your eyes, your brain, and your nervous system all participate in anchoring these new positive statements into your being. Effective affirmations also work best when they focus on how you want to feel rather than just what you want to have. Instead of "I have $1,000,000, you might write "I feel financially secure and free," or "I enjoy abundant prosperity flowing through my life." Feeling-based affirmations are more believable and more powerful because feelings are experiences you can access right now, regardless of your external circumstances. You can also create affirmations that address specific fears or challenges you're facing. If you're afraid of failure, you might write, "I trust myself to handle any outcome with grace," or "Every experience teaches me and helps me grow stronger." If you struggle with perfectionism, you might affirm, "I embrace progress over perfection," or "I am learning and growing, and that is enough." The timing and frequency of your affirmations matter too. Writing them first thing in the morning helps set a positive tone for your entire day and programs your subconscious with empowering messages before the world starts throwing its challenges at you. Writing them before bed allows them to work in your subconscious mind while you sleep, integrating into your consciousness on the deepest levels. Some people find it powerful to write the same affirmation multiple times, like writing, "I am worthy of love and respect" 25 times. This repetition helps bypass mental resistance and implant the new belief more deeply. Others prefer to write different affirmations each day, addressing various areas of their lives. Find the approach that feels most natural and effective for you. You can also create theme-based affirmations for different areas of your life. Monday might be relationship affirmations, Tuesday might focus on career and finances, Wednesday might center on health and vitality, and so on. This systematic approach ensures you're supporting growth and healing in all areas of your life, rather than focusing on just one area. The key to successful affirmations is consistency rather than perfection. You don't have to believe your affirmations completely when you start writing them. You just have to be willing to practice them consistently and be open to the possibility that they might be true. Over time, as you repeat these positive statements and look for evidence to support them, they gradually become more believable and more real in your experience. Creating a sacred writing practice means establishing a consistent, intentional approach to using writing as a tool for transformation, healing, and manifestation. This isn't about adding another item to your already overwhelming to-do list. This is about creating a nurturing ritual that becomes a highlight of your day, a time when you connect with your deepest wisdom and most authentic desires. The word sacred simply means that you treat this practice with love, respect, and intention. You create a special space and time for your writing that feels different from checking emails or writing grocery lists. You approach your pen and paper knowing that you're about to engage in something that has the power to transform your life from the inside out. Your sacred writing practice doesn't need to be elaborate or time-consuming to be effective. Even 5 or 10 minutes of intentional writing can create profound shifts when practiced consistently. The power lies not in the length of time you spend writing, but in the quality of attention and intention you bring to the practice. Creating a designated space for your writing practice helps signal to your subconscious mind that this is important, sacred time. This doesn't mean you need a special room or expensive supplies. It might be a corner of your kitchen table that you clear off each morning, a comfortable chair by the window, or even a spot in your car before you go into work. The key is choosing a space where you feel peaceful and won't be interrupted. Having special writing tools can also enhance the sacred quality of your practice. This might be a beautiful journal that you use only for this purpose, a pen that feels good in your hand, or even a special cup of tea that you drink while you write. These small rituals help create a boundary between your regular daily activities and this special time for inner connection and conscious creation. The timing of your writing practice can make a significant difference in its effectiveness. Many people find that writing first thing in the morning before the demands of the day take over allows them to connect with their inner wisdom most clearly. Your mind is quiet, your energy is fresh, and you can set positive intentions for the day ahead. Others prefer writing in the evening as a way to process the day's experiences, release any stress or negativity, and prepare their subconscious mind for healing and integration while they sleep. Some people even enjoy writing during their lunch break as a way to reset and refocus their energy for the afternoon. The most important thing is choosing a time when you can be consistent and present. It's better to write for 5 minutes every day than to write for an hour once a week. Consistency builds momentum and creates lasting change, while sporadic practice, though well-intentioned, doesn't have the same transformative power. You might find it helpful to begin each writing session with a simple ritual that helps you transition from your everyday mindset into a more centered, intentional state. This could be taking 3 deep breaths, saying a small prayer or intention, lighting a candle, or simply sitting quietly for a moment to center yourself. One of the most important aspects of maintaining a sacred writing practice is releasing attachment to how your writing should look or sound. This isn't about creating beautiful prose or profound insights. This is about showing up consistently and honestly, allowing whatever wants to emerge to flow through your pen onto the paper. Some days your writing might feel inspired and meaningful. Other days it might feel mundane or scattered. Both are perfectly valuable. Your writing practice might evolve and change over time, and that's beautiful too. You might start with gratitude lists and gradually move into scripting your desired reality. You might begin with emotional release writing and find yourself naturally shifting into affirmations. Trust your intuition about what your practice needs to include at different phases of your journey. It's also important to have compassion for yourself when you miss days or when your practice feels less inspired than usual. Life happens, and there will be times when your writing practice gets interrupted. Instead of judging yourself or giving up entirely, simply return to your practice with love and without drama. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to reconnect with this powerful tool for transformation. Some people find it helpful to track their writing practice, not as a way to judge themselves, but as a way to notice patterns and celebrate consistency. You might put a star on your calendar each day you write, or keep a simple log of how you felt before and after your writing sessions. This tracking can help you see the cumulative effects of your practice and motivate you to continue during times when you don't feel like writing. Your sacred writing practice becomes a relationship with the wisest, most loving part of yourself. The more consistently you show up for this relationship, the stronger and more trustworthy it becomes. You begin to rely on your writing time as a source of clarity, comfort, and guidance. It becomes a sanctuary you can always return to, no matter what chaos might be happening in the outside world. As you settle into this practice, you might be amazed by the insights, solutions, and inspirations that emerge through your pen. You'll start to trust your own inner wisdom more deeply and rely less on outside sources for answers to your life's questions. Your writing practice becomes a direct line to your intuition, your creativity, and your highest guidance. Here you are, beautiful soul, at the beginning of a brand new chapter in your life. You now understand that the simple act of putting pen to paper holds the power to transform everything: your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your experiences, and ultimately, your entire reality. This isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is a practical, accessible tool that you can begin using immediately to create the life you've been dreaming of. You've discovered that writing breaks those mental loops that have been keeping you stuck, allowing you to step outside of unconscious patterns and into conscious choice. You've learned that releasing your truth on paper creates space for new possibilities to emerge, and that rewriting your inner story changes the story you're living in the world. You understand now that gratitude writing shifts your frequency from lack to abundance, and that scripting your desired reality helps your subconscious mind work toward making those desires real. You know that personalized affirmations can gradually reprogram limiting beliefs into empowering ones, and that creating a sacred writing practice gives you a consistent way to connect with your inner wisdom and maintain positive momentum in your life. All of this knowledge is beautiful, but knowledge alone won't change your life. It's the application of this knowledge, the actual practice of writing with intention, that will create the transformation you're seeking. The most beautiful thing about this journey you're beginning is that you don't have to wait for permission or for the perfect moment or for more confidence before you start. You can begin right now, today, with whatever paper and pen you have available. You don't need to know exactly what to write or how to do it perfectly. You just need to be willing to begin, to show up for yourself, and to trust that the simple act of writing with intention will guide you toward everything you're meant to create and become. Your transformation won't happen overnight, and that's actually a blessing. Gentle, sustainable change is much more lasting than dramatic shifts that don't have time to integrate into your being. Each day that you write, you're planting seeds of positive change. Some days you might not see immediate results, but trust that these seeds are growing beneath the surface, preparing to burst into bloom when the timing is perfect. There will be days when your writing feels inspired and magical, and days when it feels mundane or difficult. Both types of days are valuable and necessary parts of your growth. The key is to keep showing up, keep writing, keep believing in your power to create positive change through the simple act of putting pen to paper. Your future self is already celebrating the decision you're making right now to begin this practice. That version of you who is living the life you've been dreaming of wants you to know that it all started with a simple willingness to write your way into a new reality. Every word you write is a step toward that future self. Every sentence is an investment in your highest potential. Every page is a declaration that you believe you deserve a beautiful, fulfilling, abundant life. The universe has been waiting for you to pick up that pen and begin consciously creating the life you came here to live. Your soul has been gently nudging you toward this moment of empowerment. And the wisest part of you already knows that everything you need to transform your life is already within you, waiting to flow through your hand onto the paper. So take a deep breath, pick up your pen, and begin. Write your truth, write your dreams, write your gratitude, write your new story. Write your way into the life that's calling to you. The pen in your hand is indeed a magic wand, and you are the magician. Your new life begins with your very next written word. The power is in your hands. The magic is in your pen. Your transformation begins now.